Iran. Leaked documents reveal top-level orders to armed forces to mercilessly confront protesters.
Here's a summary of the article.
Iran's highest military body instructed the commanders of armed forces in all provinces to severely confront protesters who took to the streets following the death in custody of Mahsa Amini at the hands of Iran's morality police. Amnesty International said today after obtaining leaked official documents which revealed the authorities' plan to systematically crush the protests at any cost. The organization also shares evidence of the widespread use of lethal force and firearms by Iranian security forces who either intended to kill protesters or should have known with a reasonable degree of certainty that their use of firearms would result in deaths. Amnesty International has obtained a leaked copy of an official document which states that, on 21 September 2022, the General Headquarters of Armed Forces issued an order to commanders in all provinces instructing them to severely confront troublemakers and anti-revolutionaries. Another leaked document shows that, on 23 September, the commander of the armed forces in Mazandaran province ordered security forces in all towns and cities in the province to confront mercilessly, going as far as causing deaths, any unrest by rioters and anti-revolutionaries. On 28 September, a protester from Isfahan told Amnesty International, "I have seen protesters beaten." The night before, my friends recounted how they saw one woman, protester, was yanked from her hair along the ground. Her clothes were coming off her body and the security forces kept pulling her by the hair. 2 nights ago, the protester added, "Several of my friends were beaten with batons. One of them, who has now got bruises on her forearm and legs, told me that security forces cornered them in an alley and beat them with batons. One member of the security forces then said, 'Let's also shoot them in the leg,' and another security agent said, 'No, let's go.' They are so brutal." According to international human rights law and standards, even if some protesters engage in violence, law enforcement officials must ensure that those who remain peaceful can continue protesting without facing undue interference or intimidation by security forces.
This post received a score of 26,000, with an upvote ratio of 96%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
John F. Kennedy said, "Those who make peaceful revolution impossible make violent revolution inevitable."
People seem to forget that peaceful protests are an incredibly powerful tool for 2 reasons. The first is that they give the protesters the ability to make themselves heard without resorting to violence. The second is that it warns authority to do something about the problem. When authority doesn't listen to peaceful protest, it will almost always turn into violent protest. Peaceful protest is as much a threat as a loud request.
Can you give sense examples of large social problems fixed purely by peaceful protest, without violent protests also happening?
The singing revolution of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania was successful.
We just seized the opportunity. It's not like we sang ourselves free at the height of the Soviet Union's power.
What would Iran leadership do when armed forces are either overcome or join the protest? That's why they have the IRGC. They are better equipped and armed than the Iranian army.
Army outnumbers IRGC though, so weapons aren't only factor.
Training and experience are better than sheer number, which the IRGC has far more than the army.
At that point it's a civil war and that a whole different can of worms.
They started with beatings and murder of their own people, so the populace knows what they're up against. It's only a matter of time till these fearmongering shitbags discover the breaking point of good people. That is not a lesson you learn twice.
The current regime of Iran used children to clear minefields, and it still has support from enough batshit crazy Iranians to suppress those that do not support them. Remember, they used children to clear minefields. Closing square bracket opening parenthesis. Children. They think they got God on their side. They are fucking insane.
What a heartbreaking read. Fucking hell.
Kids aren't an exception either apparently.
I knew an Iranian once who described living in a dictatorial society. Shit always runs downhill, basically. But who is always at the bottom of that hill? Children. They get it the worst.
They've got it literally backwards.
Not so secret anymore. An hour ago, they killed a young drive because he was honking as a gesture of solidarity with the protesters. He was shot in the head.
But what will happen as an outcome? More protest? And then what? More death? Sad world we live in.
They'll keep killing till people fall in line. Fall in line or die. Doesn't matter how many they have to kill. Doesn't matter if it's children. They'll just keep going until the people stop protesting.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.